All right, my friends, how are you today? Aaron here, bringing your daily horoscope for Thursday, the 9th of July, 2020. We have a really, really beautiful day here as the moon continues to journey through the sign of Pisces. All right, so it's in the middle degrees right now. Okay, and early in the morning, what is this about? I've got it set to 1 a.m. right now. I'll show you the chart. At 1 a.m., all right, the moon is going to trine here to Mercury. Okay, so the moon is in a place of expansiveness. It's in a place of abundance, in a place of oneness, a needing for spirituality, a needing for release, a needing, to be boundless, to be limitless. The sky's the limit kind of feelings. Okay, free ourselves of boundaries. All right. That is a good meat of what's going on today, is freeing ourselves of boundaries. All right. And the funny thing is, like, there are many aspects lining up that are showing us this, that are helping us walk through this, of like putting walls down to allow, this fresh water to flow in or something, and we are dealing with a lot of water emotional energy. So it's just kind of funny. So I'm going to show you, I'll walk you through how that kind of goes on today. All right, so easy flow of energy, right, between water sign and water sign. Moon starts off the morning trine to Mercury, and it's going to end the day by trining over here to the sun. All right, so this is an easy flow of energy between Mercury, which is retrograde. Okay, so it's still, some communication or emotions are hard to get out. We could still be feeling very internal, introverted, inward. Although we might want to, Mars is wanting to, like, let's move, let's go, let's get things done. That can be, again, a bit of a square still, Mercury creating that square here to Mars, right? So the moon's going to help alleviate that, and saying I need to, be more expressive, more expansive, and again, less boundaries, less things that are limiting me. Now, Pluto and Jupiter up here, still creating this septile. Again, that's fate and destined. This is manifested before, this is like energy that was in the works far before we were ever created here on this planet. You know what I mean? And we are a reflection of this, which is really quite beautiful, that we chose to be here in such a magical time, right? So this is about this huge change in manifestation, transcendence, all right, and new knowledge. It's about new knowledge. Okay, it's not just one way of thinking, one way of being, or one way of doing things. You can find, you find 1,000 different very successful people and ask them about their morning routine, and there might be hundreds of different books on self-help, or like how to live a successful, wealthy a lifestyle, whichever, both, and they're all going to be, they're all going to say different things, right? So this is like finding what's best for you, and finding what's best for your people, or just for yourself, right? So let's come back here about today. So that's just an overall energy that is going on here. All right. So again, easy flow, or maybe, or sweet dreams, whoever's sleeping at that point in time. Now the moon is going to move forward here, and we're going to start to create a couple cool aspects. One is the sextile down here to Uranus. Uranus is the breakthrough. Uranus is the release of everything, right? Saturn's the pressure. Uranus is the release outside the limits of Saturn. Remember, Jupiter is an expansion within the limits of the third dimension, which is Saturn. Okay. Neptune is the expansion outside the limits of Saturn, and it takes Uranus, that breakthrough, that planet of release, that aha, to get us to this a void of oneness, right? We have to break these limits. We have to break the boundaries. So, Jupiter and Pluto up here are saying, yes, break these boundaries. It's time to expand and transcend onto something new. And it's new information that's going to get us there. It's by looking and discovering what works best for ourselves, that's going to do it. As well as, trying to be, continuing that emotional compassion for others while our own self-discovery continues, right? So the moon now starts to square Venus, okay? Saying what? Like, yes, again, there is a love for everything. There is a right and a wrong and a left and a right. And that's what Venus can say. I love this and I don't love this. And this is right for me and this is wrong for me. And the moon here is saying, yeah, that's wonderful and beautiful. And we have to expand our minds. We have to expand our emotions, to allow and accept things. It doesn't mean you have to fall in love with the things that you dislike, but coming to a place of acceptance with things, okay? As so many things are changing, right? Because the more we kick and scream about things is the more we, what you resist persists, right? Now the moon's going to continue to tighten up that sextile here to Uranus. Okay, Uranus creating these semi-sextiles here over to Chiron, the wounded healer, and Venus. Okay, so it's just like what tension was there quite early in the morning between the moon and Venus about expansion. It's just like this. It's like, we could get up, it could be like a morning routine. And again, that's some of these things that Jupiter and Pluto making reference to, the North Node. Again, how are we spending our morning routine? The information that your first thoughts or your first actions right when you wake up are so powerful. It's how they shape your mind. It's how they shape your day. It's, we're in a different, brain waves at that point in time, and it's very moldable brain waves. So it's like if we're checking our phones immediately when we wake up in the morning, or if we're getting up and doing some stretches, something like this. Again, our daily routine, how we change our lives, is really, really important right now. And Mars is saying, yes, we have the ability to do that for ourselves, to take action and create this sort of healing. And when we do this, things are going to be uncomfortable. When we break down, okay, these walls, which is saying, yeah, we got to heal. We got to break down the walls. There could be tension between what we need is this expansion. What we need, our emotional need, is this oneness, is vulnerability, okay? And the moon or the sun and Mercury, in a sense, are saying, like, I want to hide my emotions, especially with Mercury in retrograde right now. And here, this is like the only thing that's coming to mind right now. It's just like, this could be really anything. This could be a yoga practice or Kundalini yoga. You're sitting here like this, and doing fire breath for 5 minutes, or some weird, hand mudras, or some yoga poses, or sitting there meditating, or whatever. There's a lot of things that we can do. That we look vulnerable, that we feel vulnerable doing, so we want to hide out and not do those things. Okay, so you'll know what it is. You know what it is that's going on in your life that's like something you know is good for you, that you should do or want to do. But there's this sense of vulnerability that's like saying, I'm going to hide out instead because I don't want to put myself in that vulnerable space. However, when we enter that vulnerable space and we pull those walls down, right, this is what the energy of the day is suggesting, that when we pull those walls down and go out there and chant with the yogis, or do, some of these weird cat cows, or that's not a weird pose, but I mean anything, when we're putting ourselves, again, like outside of our comfort zone, there's really breakthrough stuff that happens. This is where all the magic happens throughout the day, okay? And the moon is saying, like, yes, bring an end to this. This is about completion as well, with it being in the sign of Pisces, Thursday and Friday into, because it's going to start to connect with Neptune early Friday morning. Right. So this is like a great day of like wrapping things up too. So it's just like, okay, this is the final blocks that are in the way, that are stopping me from getting there, and allowing myself to get to this vulnerable space. And Mars, our planet, our warrior planet, all right, moving into its home territory, almost continuing in a sense. Continuing that, remember when we were talking, last month, when we were talking about Mars setting down setting down the armor, setting down the weapons, the stuff to like take a break, where now it's just like, well, there's this active a sense of healing right now. You know, it's just like we can still allow ourselves to be vulnerable, especially with Mars, with Chiron. You know, it's just like, okay, you know, we're still nurturing ourselves right now. We're actively seeking that healing, and that again will be uncomfortable when we're trying something new. But saying we have the energy and the persistence to you know, continue through it. So whatever's going on, you know, push past these uncomfortable feelings. Come back to breath, come back to this present moment, the now, right? All this Capricorn energy, come back to right here, right now. Breathe and have a beautiful, beautiful day, my friends. All right, we'll see you tomorrow.